Okay, Hare Krishna. So, I found out very late that there was no giving class today. So, bear with me here. It's a very nice purports. It's a very nice verse. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari 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 Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yasoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Sodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yasodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Nana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yasodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yasodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yasodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Ya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Parikacharya Terasada Shishimata Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnavinda Ki Jai Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem Go Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Dvaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gaur Bhaktivinda Ki Jai Jai Radha Krishna Gopa Gopanath Shai Mukunda Radha Kunda Giri Gaurani Ki Jai Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Mayapur Navadip Dham Ki Jai Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai Bhakti Devi Ki Srimati Tulsi Devi Ki Harinam Sankirtan Ki Briyat Mridanga Ki Samaveda Bhaktivinoda Ki Gaur Premanandi. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shishi, Guru, and Garanga. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Namo. Last minute. Last minute because Santosh forgot it was his day. Yeah, that's all right. It's a nice verse. It's a continuation of the last one. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. 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 Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 47, and this is verse 67. Karmabir Brahmayamanam. Karmabir Brahmayamanam. Yatra Kwapi Vishesh. Yatra Kwapi Shvarechaya. Mangala Charitardanai Ratrirna Krishna Ishvare Karmabir Brahmayamanam Yatra Kwapishvarechaya Mangala Charitardanai Ratrirna Krishna Ishvare Karmabir Brahmayamanam Karmabir Brahmayamanam Yatra Kwapishvarechaya Mangala Charitardanai Ratrirna Krishna Ishvare. Any takers? Brahmabir Brahmyamananam Yatra Krapishvareshaya Mangala Charitardanai Ratrirna Krishna Ishvare Karma bir brahmyamananam. Yatra kvapishparechaya. Mangalarchari Tardanai. Radhanan Krishna Ishvare. Karma Bihi. By our fruit of actions. Brahmayamananam. Who are made to wander. Yatra qua api. Wherever. Ishvara. Of the Supreme Lord. Ichaya. By the desire. Mangala. Auspicious. Acharitahi. Because of works. Danai. Because of charity. Rati. Attachment. Naha. Our. Krishna. For Krishna. Ishvare. The Lord. Translation by the disciples of Srila Prabhupada. Wherever we are made to wander about in this world by the Supreme Lord's will, in accordance with reactions to our fruit of work, may our good works and charity always grant us love for Lord Krishna. Nice prayer. Wherever we are made to wander about this world by the Supreme Lord's will, in accordance with reactions to our fruit of work, may our good works and charity always grant us love for Lord Krishna. Om Jnana Timirandasya Ganan Ganan Shalakaya Chakshu Unmilitangena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Tatati Swapadantikam Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swamini Taramani Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Bacharani Nirasesa Shunyavadi Prachadeshjani Panchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhyevacha Patitanam Pavanevyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. What a nice prayer, because this is continuing with Nanda and the cowherds speaking their minds about Krishna and their relationship with Krishna. Yet the previous verse that was done 2 days ago, the translation was, Nanda and the other cowherds said, may our mental functions always take shelter of Krishna's lotus feet. May our words always chant his names. And may our bodies always bow down to him and serve him. And then continuing, wherever we are made to wander about in this world by the Supreme Lord's will, in accordance with the reactions to our fruit of work, may our good works and charity always grant us love for Lord Krishna. There's nothing here but love and a desire to give love and have love exchanged with Krishna. And it's a humble prayer, because as we'll see from the Acharyas' commentaries, Nanda Maharaj and his associates, they don't consider themselves to be liberated souls who are worshiping Krishna and that they're somehow have any position at all. They see themselves as living in the material world, actually, and being ordinary. Because the devotee, as the devotee becomes more advanced, the devotee becomes more humble. No devotee will ever think that I'm a great devotee. No pure devotee will think. in the early days of the movement, we used to talk about people having PD disease, pure devotee disease. And it was easy for people to, I've been in the movement for 6 months and now I'm chanting Hare Krishna, I'm so great. But you never hear that sentiment from a really great devotee. And in Prabhupada, I was just listening to a class by Prabhupada yesterday, and Prabhupada said very, very strongly, it's guaranteed fall down if we start thinking that we're a great devotee. Therefore, we should follow in the footsteps of these really great devotees and always keep ourselves humble, understanding it's by Krishna's grace that we have a chance to engage in his service. So, I should also say it's Guru and Krishna. Guru Krishna Prasade Bhai Bhakti Lata Beach. So, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur speaks. Long living Uddhava, this is a quote. Long living Uddhava, though our son is endowed with great qualities and beauty, we have been most hard-hearted to him. Even now that is so. We understand now that all the affection and fondling that occurred were insignificant, for in separation from him we remain alive. There was one father, Dasarath, and when he heard that his son had departed for a far-off place, he died. We do not even have a trace of love for our son. Therefore, that omniscient son, rejecting us as unqualified parents and being inconceivable as God, took Vasudeva and Devaki as his father and mother. In some future birth, let us have such love. In this way, he prays in 2 verses. This is heart-wrenching. And it's also mentioned here, we should see here that there's a separation here a bit. What is it here? It says, we understand now, and therefore that omniscient son, rejecting us as unqualified parents and being inconceivable as God. It's almost he's saying it's inconceivable that Krishna could be God, but somehow or other he must be, and therefore he's rejected us and has other parents because we're not qualified. So let's continue. This is all. We have to understand. This is all bhava. This is all emotion. This is emotion at the highest level. It's actually anurag. It's described. Such very high emotions within pure love. May our minds take shelter of Krishna's feet. This is a reversal due to great love. Their mind and senses are always submerged in Krishna, but they pray in this way. This indicates the strength of the sanchari bhava, of dainya, or humility. Their humility is so great that they always take this humble mood. You can't even be a parent because a parent can't be a humble. But in this case, they're taking a humble mood, and we're going to see here through all the different commentaries of the acharyas how this mood of humility leads to these super excellent emotions in the pure devotees of Braj. It is the nature of an intense madhurya, vatsalya, and sakya bhav that when there is a feeling of great lowness springing from the disturbance of separation and a recognition of their indifference to the object of love, their natural bhavas disappear and dasya bhav appears. So it's stating here that when there's a separation and their natural roles have been disturbed, they fall into this mood of like dasya, which is like, oh my Lord, please forgive me. Oh my Lord, let me be your servant. Oh my Lord, I don't have the ability to do what I'm supposed to do. So it's this great humility that dasya arises. And then there's some examples given. When An example of Sakya turning into Dasya is as follows. When Balaram, near the end of Brahma Mohan Leela, felt that he had not had enough confidence in Krishna until that day due to indifference, he developed Dasya Bhav and said, "You must be the Maya of my Lord." And so the idea is that Balaram couldn't even understand what had happened when Krishna manifested himself as all the cowherd boys and the calves. Balaram was even out of the loop here. How is that? Well, this is the divine Leela of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But when he realized that, oh my, Krishna actually did this, he becomes, he has this mood of like, oh, Krishna, this must be the Maya of my Lord. You are my Lord. An example of Dasya Bhav in Madhura Rasa is as follows. Radha said, "O Master, O Enjoyer, bring this miserable servant to you." That's from 10:30-40. And a gopi said, "Does Krishna coming back from the Gurukula ever speak about us, his servants?" An example of Dasya Bhav in Vatsalya is the present verse. So this present verse is an example of Dasya and Vatsalya. However, in the state of happiness, they would not give their relationship. They would not give up their relationship, as is the case of Vasudeva and Devaki when overcome by Aishvarya Gyan. You two children are not our sons. So we should rewind a few chapters of the Bhagavatam here. And when Krishna enters into the wrestling arena in Mathura, he's just killed the elephant Kulavaya Pita. I can say it sometimes. In any case, so this great elephant, the elephant, Kulalaya Pita, the elephant that Krishna kills before he comes into the wrestling arena. And he's coming into the wrestling arena, he's got tusk in his arm, and so does Balaram. He's covered with splotches of blood. He's very, very powerful, and he's coming to, he's going to fight the wrestlers, and then he kills Kamsa. And seeing all this, Vasudeva and Devaki, they're just like, their minds are blown completely. And they actually lose, there's actually this section afterwards where they're frozen in a sort of like state of like disbelief, and they don't know how to react to Krishna. You can't be our son. I mean, you're God. That's never coming about in the residents of Braj. They sometimes are thinking this way, that I haven't done the right thing, I'm not up to the standard, somehow you rejected us. But they're always thinking ultimately that I worship Narayan and Krishna is my son or my lover or my friend, ultimately. They're never thinking that Krishna is God. Because to do so would mean breaking that relationship that they have. This is how great their love is. We are on the other side of that. We have to actually come to the point where we can really acknowledge Krishna as God and serve him in love and devotion. And then through the process of bhakti, through the process of our sadhana bhakti, we will enter eventually into Raganuga bhakti and follow one of the footsteps of one of the inhabitants of Braj. And in that way, we'll actually someday come to the platform where we forget that Krishna's God and worship him without the barrier of like, he's on high and I'm on low. Jiva Goswami writes, "May we always have attraction for Krishna, though he has the form of the Lord, Krishna Ishvare." So he has the form of the Lord, Krishna Ishvare. But still, they're always thinking Krishna has this relationship with them, of a son or a lover or whatever. Nanda says that they wander by the will of the Lord. The repetition of the word Ishvara indicates that by his nature he considers the Supreme Lord to be different from Krishna, who is mentioned later in the verse. I mean, he's worshiping Narayan. He's worshiping the Supreme Lord as Narayan, not as Krishna. He considers himself an ordinary living being wandering in the world by the influence of karma while participating in the human pastimes of Krishna. These pastimes of Krishna is called Naravat Lila. It looks like ordinary human life. Vaikuntha does not look like ordinary human life. Vaikuntha is like magical. The Lord is big, the Lord is the God, and then the inhabitants of Vaikuntha, they have a relationship with him which is awe and reverence, and then things in Vaikuntha happen in such a way that, they've got 4 arms. It's definitely not of this human realm. But in the realm of Braj, it's the human world. It seems that way to them. And therefore the love they have is that of what we have here now. Of course, imperfectly, quite imperfectly. The mother's love may be very close, but when the son grows up and becomes wayward, mother's love may not be that close. And the 2 lovers, they dedicate themselves forever. They lock the lock on the bridge, and they think, we're always going to be together. And 10 years later, of course, they're enemies. So these things come and go. But in Braj, they don't come and go. They just become more and more sweet. He considers good works, mangala charitai, and charity, part of good works, danai, are mentioned separately, since Nanda would be absorbed particularly in charity. Moreover, he speaks repetitively out of fatherly affection, disturbed by separation. That also happens in the material world. The son goes off to war, and the father is very disturbed. The brother, he goes someplace, and his brothers and sisters are disturbed. So many stories of the young fighter pilot in World War II who's writing his letters to his loved one, and then he never comes back. And that, though, is that's very bitter. It may be called bittersweet even in people's memories. But in the spiritual world, even though there is a separation, it is always sweet, and their emotions, even though apparently they look like emotions in the material world, they're not the same. And the most extreme example, of course, are the gopis. And in 1047:59, which we covered recently, just a little while ago. Let me come to it here. This is the where Uddhava is speaking. I have to get to it here. 1047. Where Uddhava is speaking about the gopis, and he says about their love that yes. No, maybe it's 1047. Oh, 59 maybe. 59, yes, 59. Okay. He says, how amazing it is that these simple women who wander about the forest, seemingly spoiled by improper behavior, have achieved the perfection of unalloyed love for Krishna, the Supreme Soul. Still, it is true that the Supreme Lord himself awards his blessings even to the ignorant worshiper, just as the best medicine works even when taken by a person ignorant of his ingredients. And the next verse, I think, is what I wanted here. Oh, maybe here. Sorry. Vishwanath Chakravarti explains that that although foolish common people criticize the position of the gopis, such behavior is commended by those who are wise in spiritual science. Therefore, learned members of society and the revealed scriptures praise such single-minded devotion to the Lord. Such was the gopis' behavior. Thus the term vyabhachara, dushta, corrupted by deviation, indicates the apparent resemblance between the gopis' behavior and that of ordinary adulterous women. It's not the same thing. We should always remember that the emotions in the spiritual world, they are pure, and the emotions here are corrupted. And Prabhupada gives the example of a tree by a reservoir of water, that the top of the tree is the bottom of the reflection. So that which is highest in the spiritual world is lowest in the material world. Because there's not pure love in the material world, then these behaviors become very, very poisonous. But because there is pure love in the spiritual world, the behaviors of the devotees in the spiritual world are always sweet and always full of love for Krishna, and Krishna reciprocates that love. Although he says in the end of the chapter about the Ras Leela, there's no way I can repay your love, because your love is so great that I cannot repay it. The only way I can, the only payment you get is more service, and of course service for them is living a natural life of love within a certain rasa. So, Sanatana Goswami speaks. We do not want anything other than Krishna prem by auspicious acts and bhakti request, and the bhakti requested. That's the way we should pray. Nadanam, najanam, nasundaram, kavitam va kama isha kama mama janmani janmani ishvare bhavatad bhaktir hoitaki twai. Lord Chaitanya says, I don't want wealth, I don't want women, I don't want followers. I simply want to have service, birth after birth. If we have service, birth after birth, and we're actually following the process, then this is our actual good fortune, because it may be that we have to take several births in order to perfect our Krishna consciousness, but it may be we can do it in one birth. It all depends on our determination. But the fact is that we don't worry about liberation. We don't worry about our needs in this world. What we want is we want to have pure love of Krishna. So this is the very beginning. We do not want, of the commentary, we don't want anything other than Krishna prema. If I actually understood that if I had Krishna prema, I wouldn't need anything else, then I would be perfectly situated. We do not want anything other than Krishna prema by auspicious acts and the bhakti requested. Wherever we may wander on earth or upper planets by the results of karma, given by the will of the Lord, by doing auspicious acts like daily and periodic duties, and by giving cows, may we have a rati, or attachment for Krishna, love for Krishna. Giving cows is included in auspicious acts, but mentioned separately because Nanda was very generous. And then it continues, or by prayers, our mental functions, auspicious acts and charity offered to the Lord, may we develop rati for Him. The plural is used to indicate that each act is done many times. Many, many times over and over again. We chant the Shastika every morning many, many times, because eventually it sinks into our consciousness. We chant, we sing the prayers to the spiritual master many, many times, because as we chant these prayers, it sinks into our consciousness. It becomes part of our being, and by being part of our being, it's naturally there, even when we have difficulties. I mean, this is a very important point. The material world is very, very attractive to the conditioned soul, and we will be attracted. We should never think, "Oh, I'm above attraction." No, we're not above attraction. We're just not attracted right now. And when the attraction comes for something, power, fame, sensual enjoyments, whatever. There's so many different ways we can be attracted. Then it is by the reservoir of our service to the Supreme Lord and our repeated daily function as through sadhana that we have this reservoir of remembrance and strength that allows us, even if we stray and even, to quote, we fall down. I mean, Bharat Maharaj is an exemplary story of that, is that he had reached the stage of bhava. This is preliminary bhava, not bhava within prem, but the state of bhava, which is like the seed of prem. He had reached that state, but because he became inattentive and became attached to a deer, he was sidetracked for 2 births. First as the deer, and then as Jud Bharat. But he never forgot Krishna because he had such strong, attachment through his practice, which was daily all the time. And even though he wavered, Krishna was in his heart, and he remembered Krishna ultimately. So this is very important for us. We have to become fixed. That's the term, of course, is nishta. We want to come to the platform of being fixed. Nakarma bandhanam janma vaishnavanam tu vidyate. And this is a really important point. The devotees are not bound by karma and birth. That's from the Padma Purana. The devotees do not wander by karma. However, the eternal associates of the Lord in Braj identify themselves as persons in the material world, absorbing themselves in the pastimes according to the will of the Lord. In order for them to absorb themselves in these pastimes, they have to think of themselves as ordinary. They can't think of themselves as exalted or even think of Krishna as exalted. They have to think it's ordinary. But we have to understand what it's being said here in the Padma Purana. Devotees do not wander by karma. And this is also applicable to us to the extent that when we're initiated, we become under the control of our Gurudev and Krishna. And as long as we carry out the instructions of our Gurudev, and which are the instructions meant to help us become closer to Krishna, then we're not affected by mundane karma. That's something in the world. Prabhupada said, when you're a devotee, you clap your hands and all the lines of your chart of your hands change. I mean, devotees become sometimes interested in astrology, but astrology, it may have its use for certain things, but really we don't care so much about that because that's our karma. And if we act in Krishna consciousness with firm determination and faith, then we become free from karma. But we still are getting reactions. We're still apparently wandering in this material world, but it's under Krishna's direct supervision. Prabhupada gave the example is that it's like 2 children. One child is disciplined by his parents, and it's a direct loving relationship. But another child is in an orphanage. He's also disciplined. But that's sort of an institutional thing. That's not the same as the parents. So we want to be under the guidance of our eternal parents, but that's Guru and Krishna. And they will guide us. But we have to be determined that we, every day, bring ourselves to the place where we're hearing and chanting about Krishna and engaging in service. And that service, there's so many different kinds of service. But the idea is we fill our time up with the activities in relationship with Krishna. That way, we eventually come to a higher platform. It may not look like that sometimes. It may feel like I'm not making an advancement. But we are making an advancement if we simply utsahan nishayat daryat, determination, enthusiasm, and patience. Those are the first 3 words of the 4th verse of the Nectar of Instruction, which state that these qualities of enthusiasm, determination, and patience. That's what it takes to become successful in anything. But in spiritual life, definitely is what it takes. So we're seeing here the wonderful story of the pastime of the most exalted Vatsalya devotees who love Krishna in such a way that they'll never forget him. And they're remembering him now far away, and that remembrance is causing them to actually kind of fall back into this dasya mood, where they're thinking, what did I do wrong? I want to be a servant. I want to be a servant. I just want to serve Krishna, who's not really God, but he's like God. But no, he's not really. He's my son. That's what they want. They want that. And ultimately, we'll come to that platform if we stick to the process being hearing and chanting about the Lord. The 5 pillars of Krishna consciousness. The first one is to chant Hare Krishna. That's the most important. And then, hear from the Srimad Bhagavatam, worship the deities, live in a sacred place, and serve the devotees. Sometimes it says worship Tulsi with the deities, but that's the point. Chanting, associating, living in a holy place, and serving the devotees. This is the path to perfection, like Prabhupada's book, The Path of Perfection. But that perfection, we never say we're perfect, because how are we perfect? Any moment, Krishna, Maya can affect us, but not affect us so that we forget Krishna. That's what we want. No, I don't want to forget you, Krishna. Even, like Bhaktivinoda Thakur prays, even if I take birth as an insect, I want to be an insect in the home of a devotee rather than a Brahma who doesn't remember Krishna. I'd rather be an insect where I hear Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So I'll stop and ask if anybody has a question or a comment or a correction. Okay. Well, he'll always say a word for us for Krishna. That's guaranteed. Prabhupada will intervene for us. Our guru will intervene for us if we have some other guru. But that doesn't mean that by some magical thing, if we're actually still have some work to do, that we'll go back to Godhead. But it does mean that we'll have a chance to be in a devotee association. So there's nothing to fear. But and Prabhupada can come to anybody, anytime, and do anything to help us go back to Godhead. Immediately. But we should always think that I need to qualify myself in his eyes so that I become Krishna conscious. We need to, well, I'm not, but if we're Krishna conscious, really Krishna conscious, then we're ready to go back to Godhead any time. And it's not like, some magic thing happens to us that we all of a sudden, oh, you did the service and I'm taking, that may happen. But what we really need to do is that I want to do service to the point where I'm simply in love with my guru, simply in love with Krishna, and then going back to Godhead, it's not like I'm going back to Godhead. I've already kind of gone back to Godhead before I even left the body. But that said, never fear. The guru's always going to help us. And Krishna always works through the guru. So there's no fear for a devotee who's faithful in the process. I mean, there's nothing to worry about. If we don't perfect ourselves, we take birth in a devotee family. How nice it would be to be born at the very beginning of life without and not have to go through 20 years of garbage, which conditioned us. And how nice it would be to have parents who, from the very beginning, would give us Krishna consciousness so that we would be very beginning, our life would be simply devoted. That's a good position to be in. And maybe that's what some of us get. Vishwanath Chakravarti describes that actually. He gives a 3-life example. In this life, we purify ourselves. In the next life, we actually perfect ourselves. And in that engagement, it leads us to the 3rd life, which is the entry into the Boma Vrindavan pastimes. So we're on the right path, and it's almost immediate. How many births have we taken? Can't count. How many births to go? None. 1, 2, 3. We're almost there. We're in the airport. We got the ticket. We just have to get in the airplane. There you go.
Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Taksham Bharavatam Samasitam Buddha Sundarangam Kandar Agom Vidamaniya Vishesha Shobha Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Angani Yasa Sakalem Priya Priti Manti Pasyanti Panti Kayanti Chiram Naganti Ananda Chinmaya Sadhu Jala Vigrahasya Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham
Chit Ananda Rupam Lasat Kundalam Gokule Brajamanam Yasoda Bioluka Ladavamanam Paramristam Atyanta Todrutya Gopya Yashoda Bioluka Ladavamanam Paramristram Atyanta Todrutya Gopya Rudantam Mohornedra Yugmam Rajantam Karamboja Yugmena Satankanetram Rudantam Mohornedra Yugmam Rajantam Param Yugmena Satankanetram Mohoswasakam Patire Kankakanta Stita Driva Damodaram Bhakti Badam Mohoswasakam Patire Kankakanta Stita Griva Damodaram Bhakti Badam Iti Drikswalila Birananda Kunde Swagosham Nimajantam Akyapayantam Iti Drikswalila Birananda Kunde Swagosham Nimajantam Akyapayantam Tadi yeshi tad yeshu bhaktir jitatvam Puna prema tastam shata vritti vande Tadi yeshi tad yeshu bhaktir jitatvam Puna prema tastam shata vritti vande Varam deva moksham na moksham davimva Nachanyam vrineham vareshadapiha Varam deva moksham na moksham davimva Nachanyam vrineham vareshadapiha Idam te vapurnata gopala balam Sada me manastya virastam kimanyai Idam te vapurnata gopala balam Sada me manastya virastam kimanyai Idam te mukamboja Ajanta nilair Ritam kundulai snigda raktaishja gopya Idam te mukambojam Ajanta nilair Ritam kundulai snigda raktaishja gopya Muhuschumbitam bimba raktam darame Manasya virastam alam lakshalabhai Mohoswasakam bimba raktam darame Manasya virastam alam lakshalabhai Namo Deva Damodarananta Vishnu Prasida Prabho Dukkha Jalabni Magnam Namo Deva Damodarananta Vishnu Prasida Prabho Dukkha Jalabni Magnam Kripa Drishti Rishtaditinam Bhatanu Grihane Shamamagyam Ejakshi Drishyai Dinam Betanu Grihanesha Mamagyam Ajakshidrishya Kuverat Madobada Murjaiva Yadvat Tvaya Mochitau Bhakti Bhajo Kritocha Kuverat Majobada Murjaiva Yadvat Tvaya Mochitau Bhakti Bhajo Kritocha Tata Prema Bhaktim Swakame Prayacha Namokshe Graho Mesti Damodareha Tata Prema Bhaktim Swakame Prayacha Namokshe Graho Mesti Damodareha Namaste Sturdamne Sparadipti Damne Twadi Odarayata Vishvasya Damne Namaste Sturdamne Sparadipti Damne Twadi Odarayata Vishvasya Damne Namo Radhikayai Twadiyai Priyayai Namo Nandalilaya Devaya Tubhyam 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 Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Radha Damodara Radha Damodara Radhe Jaya Radha Damodara Radha Damodara Radhe Jaya Radha Damodara Radha Damodara Radhe Jaya Radha Damodara Radha Damodara Radha Jaya Radha Golokananda Radha Golokananda Radhe Jaya Radha Golokananda Radha Golokananda Radha Jaya Giri Govardhan Giri Govardhan Giri Govardhan Jaya 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 Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Shri Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Shri Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Shri Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Shri Radhe. Shri Shri Radha Damodar ki jai, Shri Shri Radha Golokananda ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Kartik Vrata ki jai. To the Supreme Controller, who possesses an eternal form of blissful knowledge, whose glistening earrings swing to and fro, wish is that millions of opulences are of no use to me, but they constantly remain in my mind. O unlimited Vishnu, O Master, O Lord, be pleased upon me. I am drowning in an ocean of sorrow, and am almost like a dead man. Please show me the rain of mercy upon me. Uplift me and protect me with your nectarian vision. O Damodar, in your form as a baby mother, Yashoda bound you to a grinding stone with a rope for tying cows. You then freed the sons of Kuvera, Mani, Griva, and Nala Kuvera, who were cursed to stand as trees, and you gave them a chance to become your devotees. You bless me in the same way. I have no desire for liberation into your effulgence. O Lord, the entire universe was created by Lord Brahma, who was born from your abdomen, which was bound with a rope by Mother Yashoda. To this rope I offer my humble obeisances. I offer my obeisances to your most beloved Srimati Radharani and to your unlimited pastimes. Shri Shri Radha Damodar ki jai. Chaito Darpana Marjanam Bhava Mahadavagni Nirvapana